choice, mate. Its ammo will penetrate just about anything.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to be doing a solo weapon challenge run of RE4 Remake with just the Punisher. Its highlight is that it has penetration power, so it can hit multiple enemies in one shot, something that the other handguns are not capable of. The Punisher is a handgun that's normally unlocked on Chapter 2 as soon as you meet the merchant. Given its early unlock window, it's firmly positioned as a replacement for the SG, the starting handgun, should the player choose to. And looking at the stats, the Punisher has very similar stats to the SG. Slightly less damage, but slightly more everything else, including supposedly precision. After being fully upgraded, the story is still the same. The Punisher still has less damage than the SG, which is not known to be a very strong pistol. Although, its exclusive upgrade gives us the ability to penetrate through 5 targets. So, theoretically, it's gonna be good against regular enemies, but it's probably gonna struggle against bosses. That's fine in the context of a normal playthrough, but today we're gonna be doing a solo weapon run, and see how it holds up. Now that we've looked at the stats and talked some theory, let's talk about the challenge itself. The rules are professional difficulty, only the Punisher, no other inventory weapons are allowed, including flashes and grenades. We can kick, but we can't use the knife for combat. However, I am allowing myself to use the knife for utility purposes such as breaking boxes, mostly because I'm super used to it, and it shouldn't make a difference to the challenge. And if you're new here, I normally do speedruns of Resident Evil games. I've been speedrunning them for over 7 years now, but I thought I'd dip my toes into the world of challenge runs. So let's get going. I give myself a Punisher at the start of the run, that way we don't have to go weaponless until we unlock the gun on the merchant. I loot the early areas as much as possible and we come across the main village area. Now here we have two options. We can either run out the timer, but I want to see how good the Punisher is. And I get jumped by an off-screen granny and I die. On the second try, I immediately noticed the Punisher is not very accurate. Some of these shots the SG would have definitely hit, which is a surprise given the Punisher has a higher precision stat. I try to keep my distance, optimizing to maximize the damage through the bullet penetration rather than trying to go for stagger kicks. I funnel them into this tight shack where they line up and I get some good damage in. And eventually Salazar spawns, which means I'm at 10 kills. We need 15 for the bell to trigger. They line up even better but I run out of ammo. So I run into the main house and grab the stuff. And god, just look at this. The Punisher is extremely inaccurate. Like, how did this shot miss? Okay, whatever, I need 5 kills and I get 1 here. Outside, I noticed 2 guys who I previously shot because I noticed their models have blood. And the second guy makes a big show of dying. I thought it was gonna transform. I'm close, 1 or 2 kills left, and near the end, I kill a granny and a grandpa. The bell triggers and the granny turns out to be not a kill because she is transforming into a neckbreaker. That wasn't so bad. I was able to leverage the bullet penetration for the first phase, and for the second phase I just got 5 kills normally, because it felt like trying to line up enemies with Salazar running around was too dangerous. After the bell I loot everything, and I decide to do the medallion quest so I can get the spinals. I want the laser upgrade, and also, I've made a big mistake. I was under the impression that you needed the exclusive ticket upgrade. Ouch. You might be wondering why I'm picking up all these stuff that I can't use, and well, it's simple, I'm gonna sell them. And the cow is fine, don't worry. I get done with the medallions and then we go see Luis.
That hurts, you know.
On the next chapter we team up with Luis to beat this guy using the power of friendship. But Luis doesn't want to be best friends. Oh well.
Shit, they took my gear.
Leon mentioned something about having lost his gear, and initially I thought it was whatever he was using to get those massive biceps, but it turns out he just meant the inventory. The game gives knives, but we can't use them against enemies, so I just have to power through everything. I get interrupted once, and the timing on this door is really tight, even though there's plenty of space. On the next try, I get bear trapped. And almost die. I finally get through, we get our gear back, and then we finally meet the merchant. And then we go back into the factory to do the quest for rats, and getting revenge on the enemies now that we have the Punisher again. Now we go to the merchant and we have 6 spinals, but we need 10 for the laser upgrade.
This ain't a charity.
I sell most of the treasures we've collected and the weapons that we can't use. I decide not to sell the red, green, yellow herb which sells for 10k. I want to use it. And I'm able to upgrade the power of the Punisher to level 3 and the rate of fire to level 2. Here, I get the weirdest encounter. I stagger the granny and kick and get the crit sound. but for some reason, she just gets it without transforming. I didn't think it was possible for regular enemies to survive kick crits without turning into a neckbreaker. Anyway, we come across Dynamite Valley and I decide to implement the speedrun strat. When you shoot the barrel, it can distract the enemies, but it didn't do me much good because I decided to fight for the small key. It's alright, I just need to grab it and then leave. Oh damn, there's a dynamite dude. It's alright, I just need to take him out. Yikes. Okay, on the next attempt I decided to just run for the small key instead of fighting before any dynamite dudes can show up, and I get lucky with these two dudes tripping over each other instead of going for me. I grab the emblem, and there doesn't seem to be much enemies in our way. Unfortunately, I get hit by a dynamite that I really think should not have hit me. And while I'm turning the crank, another dynamite hits me. I'm surprised that one didn't kill me. Maybe it's because I was turning the crank. I eventually make it out, and would you look at that, she ended up being a neckbreaker anyway. No reason to waste ammo, I just stun her. I go back to the factory to use the small key to get the mask. It's a very good treasure. Now here is where I make a huge mistake. I was kind of not paying attention and then I died here. I should have died to him because he's somebody we shoot in the speedrun, so I should have watched out. And I hadn't saved, so I have to do Dynamite Valley again. God damn it. I get done with the canyon again, and because of the retry I end up preserving some heals. I make sure to kill the guy and grab some treasures. The Salazar here could have been a bit tricky, but we get past. That was close though. We go into Mendez's house and he's very mad at us for stealing his stuff. But it's alright, it saves us. Anyway, now that we're on chapter 3, I get to do something that I usually don't do in speedruns. I can finally save the dog. Not much to do on this chapter for now, it's mostly looting. On the merchant I sell some treasures which includes the mask loaded up with sapphires, and I'm able to upgrade the damage of the Punisher to level 4. I do this quest to get some more spinels, and I'm also collecting vipers, because there's a quest where we have to sell 3 vipers. And here in the process of trying to collect a viper, I get boxed in. I thought I shot through the enemy to hit the barrel and I thought it didn't work, but looking back at the footage, it's obvious I missed. I was thinking maybe the bullet penetration doesn't count barrels. I just run the rest of the way. This area is not much trouble. Okay, so at the fish pond, I decide to kill the brute, because if you YOLO and run into the house for the gas, and if you get boxed in, you're in for a world of pain. He goes down surprisingly easy. I think I may have gotten a kick crit. But then I accidentally do this, so I have to reset. On the next attempt, I clear all the enemies and finish up another medallions quest. This chapter is pretty uneventful and we need to beat the Garrador fast. I'm justifying the use of harpoons by calling them environmental weapons, not an inventory weapon. On chapter 4 I get the Lunker Bass and the Golden Egg, which by the way I'm not using on Salazar. That'd be way too cheap on a solo weapon run. If you didn't know, there's an Easter Golden Egg in this game where for some reason the Golden Egg, if thrown at Salazar, deals 60% of his HP as damage. I get through the one combat area in this game without much trouble. All you have to do is just run past. It's all we do in this speedrun. Now, at the merchant, we get 6 spinels for medallions and the Grey Robber quests. And we sell the Lunker Bass, Golden Egg and Vipers for even more and we end up with 23 spinels. Now at this point you might be thinking, why are you gathering so many spinels? You shouldn't need them. And you're absolutely right. I had never fully upgraded the weapon before in this game, and when I was doing this run, I thought you had to have the exclusive upgrade ticket. I didn't know that it was just a shortcut and that getting the final exclusive upgrade with just money was an option. Anyway, I get the Punisher power to level 5 and I increase the rate of fire to level 4. And with the leftover money I get the ammo capacity and the reload speed to level 2 each. And I also redeem the laser pointer for 10 spinels. We get to the first boss of the game, Gigante. Whoops, hadn't actually equipped the laser pointer yet. I don't have much of a game plan except to just go to town on him, and it seems to be working. The Plaga pops, which means he's at 90% HP. I run out of ammo before I can get a stun, but he throws out a relatively easy attack, so we just dodge it. I just keep shooting the Plaga and the fire rate seems to be doing some work, even if the power is not very impressive. I hope I don't have to burn all the ammo I have here. The next chapter has a section that I'm really dreading. Whoa, what? The dog showed up already? I thought the dog only showed up if the fight went on for a while. Or maybe this counts as a while. The dog should make this fight kind of easy. The Plaga pops again, which I believe means he's at 60% HP. Come on, doggy, do something. Okay, fine. I'll handle this myself. Too bad I can't climb on him and knife the Plaga. I'm pretty sure that will be less damage anyway. Oh god, I'm missing so many shots. Finally, the dog is doing something. It's been a while since I've seen this. The dog should distract Gigante a bit. Good thing he doesn't remember the times I didn't help him. Oh wait, the Plaga popped again, which it's not supposed to, until he's at 10% HP. I guess it's tied to the dog interaction. Time to just go to town on him. I wonder if the Rock Slide deals damage. Come on, I'm getting close to running out of ammo and I don't want to use more. I haven't looted the houses and I do have crafting material if I need. Oh, his Plaga didn't retract. And that war animation is definitely not standard. It must be a dog thing. Okay, 3, 2, 1 and I'm out. I guess I'll just have to craft. No bonus. That's not good. Okay, he should be close to death anyway. It's been a while since we already hit 60% HP. And his Plaga didn't retract. Oh, never mind. Sheesh, that took more ammo than I was hoping for. If Gigante is this tanky when we already have maximum damage on the Punisher, things might be rough down the road. I loot the area and say bye to the good boy.
Thanks, bud.
Now we need to go back to the church and rescue Ashley.
Ashley. Ashley Graham, are you in here?
Just let me go.
Listen. Easy with that.
What a nice meet cute. Now here's the part that I've been dreading like crazy. In speedruns, we use the sniper glitch to leave Ashley in the church, and when we get to the cabin, she gets teleported by the cutscene no problem. But I don't have a sniper to do the glitch, and even if I did, I don't want to use speedrun skips in this run. Okay, we just have to drag Ashley with us. Whatever happens, happens. She's sticking by close, but she has a tendency to get stuck on the smallest of obstacles. An example of one is coming up right here. She somehow got stuck on that headstone. It's right, we made the guy drop her and she should come over, unless somebody else grabs her again. Let's just interrupt the enemies just enough so that Ashley has time to come over. And she eventually does. Okay, this part ain't even the hard part. We stun the Molotov guy with his own Molotov and off we go. On the merchant, I decide to redeem a yellow diamond so I can maximize the value out of the butterfly lamp. With that and the other treasures, I managed to upgrade the Punisher to 5435. It's nearly fully upgraded. Its damage output, at least for single targets, should be maxed out, and the next area has a Salvador, I believe. Oh wait, that's a brute, not a Salvador. Time to see how good the Punisher is. I end up fighting here for a while, because there's a lot of enemies, but the Punisher proves to be really good. It gets stuns pretty often, and its bullet penetration keeps the enemies away. Trying to squeeze past is too risky, especially with Ashley, so I just end up taking out everyone. I do end up burning a little bit too much ammo though. Anyway, I decided to do the Mutt quest, which is the big dog, and it was a really bad idea because it's not going to help me with my ammo situation. To get the dog to spawn, you have to go to Mendez' house and then go back to the main village area. Okay, there it is. I hope this doesn't end badly with Ashley. I believe this is the exact same type of dog that we see later in Castle, and these things are tanky. Or maybe this one is a slightly stronger variant. Even the ones in Castle, they're tanky enough that they can tank knife stabs. But here, I think the fire rate is helping me. I'm shooting fast enough that the dog is more focused on dodging rather than actually attacking me. And I get a stun. I should be able to take it out now. Running out of ammo again. This ain't good. And oh no! Where did she come from? Oh, I just took out their last milk-producing cow. This is not gonna be good for their economy. I'm thinking the rest of the way to cabin should be relatively YOLOable. But Ashley has other ideas. Okay, this ain't good. I need to keep the enemies away long enough to help Ashley recover. And I don't have enough ammo to just take out all the enemies. I managed to take out the brute, but I completely run out of ammo. I get Ashley up, but she gets grabbed instead of following me. And now I'm in big trouble. There's nothing I can do to get the guy to drop Ashley. I need to find the ammo or resources to craft ammo before Ashley gets dragged away. I need a small resource. I have plenty of gunpowders, and unfortunately that barrel gives us gunpowders. Fortunately, this area doesn't have any doors for the enemy to drag Ashley through, which leads to an insta-fail. So as long as I keep following close, we won't hit a game over. Luckily, the guy drags Ashley here where there's a barrel and we get a lucky handgun ammo drop. Although the game's RNG gets weighted heavily towards weapons you're completely empty on. And also, one thing I haven't mentioned, cases in this game also influence RNG, and the silver case that is the default one increases handgun ammo drops, which is a big pain in the ass in speedruns but helps us here. Anyway, we eventually make it to cabin with 8 ammo, and I'm thinking, what the hell are we gonna do? But it turns out that Luis is a magnificent beast who gives us ammo. This makes cabin not as much of an issue. So how do we actually progress in cabin? Well, there's two ways. Either get enough kills or board up all 3 windows. We're gonna go for the board strat. The first board is already in the cabin and the second and the third one drops from enemies. Enemies that die in the cabin when they're the 8th or the 12th kill. After you get 7 enemies, a bunch of more enemies spawn, so I board out that window and that guy dropped the second board. I get some extra enemies and decide to use the board here, and look at that guy is transforming. One thing is that boards do not drop from plagas, although I don't think I'm at kill number 12 yet. I get a huge crit here and that's actually a nice pile of bodies, but no board. I'm pretty sure the next enemy should be dropping a board, but this hat guy just had to be the next enemy to come in the cabin. He's a guaranteed plaga. There are some ways to get boards out of plaga enemies. You can either kill them with a grenade or stab them, so they never have a chance to turn into a plaga, but that is not an option for us. I get annoyed, so I just decide to go for the kills. How many kills you need is also based on how many of the windows you've already boarded. With 2 of the windows boarded, it should be 15 kills. Oh, we'll know when the guy falls through the chimney. Luis keeps giving us ammo, so I'm not really worried about that right now. Finally, the guy drops through the chimney. After that, there's about a 50-second timer before the next phase starts, so I just loot upstairs and then come back. Now, the second phase is a lot simpler. We just need 5 kills, and the enemies that are scripted to come into the cabin are almost always guaranteed to be not plagas, except for that guy with the axe. He came in through the open window. He's a guaranteed plaga. I get into a pretty tough spot here, getting close to dying. Come on, I just need 5 kills and I have plenty of ammo. We get a couple of kills here, and that guy actually drops the boards. We could board the window now, but that wouldn't be of much use. Okay, here, I get rushed by these two and I get hit a couple of times, dropping into danger, and I thought I was screwed when I realized that the enemy that I just killed right before I got rushed happened to drop a green herb. That should be kill number 4, and Granny should be the last one that I need, except that guy is transforming. But then I noticed that he isn't. I got a kick crit on the Granny and I think it hit him while he was on D4. Eventually the brute shows up and we just need to take him out to end the cabin. So let's just go to town on him. Poor dude doesn't even have any time to get into the cabin before he gets stunned, and I can kick him. Okay, I probably should have angled him the other way so I don't get backstabbed like that. But it's fine, I mash out of the full Nelson in time. By the way, if anyone's wondering why in speedruns we get out of those grabs instantly, but here I'm having to mash. In this game, if you press the same button on a keyboard and the controller, it gets rapid fire, like a turbo. I'm not bothering with that here. Anyway, we took out the brute, so the cabin ends a few seconds after. I was really worried about that, but that Lewis giving us ammo mechanic really saved our ass. Anyway, on the merchant I don't really have much to sell. I want to keep the gems for later. We get the level 4 reload speed upgrade and the case upgrade. Okay, for a second, let's take a breather and discuss what we need to do to get through this next chapter. There's the first area that is relatively easy to get past if you could use a single flash. Then there's the Bella Sisters, and then there's the Mendez boss fight. I'm more worried about the first 2 areas. I'm not even gonna bother trying to get past without fighting, but let's see how this goes. The Garrador went for a punch into an insta-grab. I ranted about this before, but who at Capcom decided that it was a good idea to give Garradors the ability to go for an insta-grab right after a punch? Anyway, I decided to just start shooting. There is one brute here, but he shouldn't really be a problem. And something kind of weird happens here. I get ambushed from the back. It seems like a couple of enemies spawn behind us. The Granny grabs Ashley and this guy chokes me, but I somehow don't die even though my HP is at 0. I'm out of heals, so this isn't looking good. Okay, actually getting dragged is not really that big of a problem. I just gotta get some kills and get a green herb to drop. The game has a tendency to give you one if you have absolutely no heals and you have 0 HP. These guys ain't so tough. And since we're actually out of the area, the enemies are losing their aggro, so this is my chance to take out the brute alone. That's exactly what I do, and I get Ashley up. I gotta be careful and bait the enemies one by one because I'm still 0 HP. Crossbows could be lethal. After a very lengthy fight, I managed to get a green herb. I eventually make it to the Bella Sisters. There's only a couple of enemies in the area that I already took out. The rest spawn in when you actually trigger the fight. I looted the entire area and I have 47 ammo for this, which should be somewhat barely doable. My game plan is to maximize the damage I can get from kicks by alternating stuns on them. It might be a bad idea, especially since you only need to kill the one that has the crank, the one with the green skirt. But I think the Punisher just doesn't kill fast enough, and not stunning the other one is too risky. I think the fight's going pretty well, it feels pretty controlled. This guy shows up and grabs us, but he only gives us an extra kick that lands nicely on all of them. By the way, some of these kicks could be critting and there's no way to tell. Kick crits that only make the crit sound happens only on regular enemies. They could be triggering on... Oh shit! What the hell was that? How did I survive that? Okay, we gotta take a look at that again. Okay, the kick unfortunately did not hit the sister on the right, and she got an attack off which barely missed. But that second attack should have hit, but I got hit by a pitchfork from behind that happened to interrupt the Bella sister. That's actually insane. Okay, I'm starting to get overwhelmed a bit. Need to gain some distance. I should still have plenty of ammo. I somehow managed to kill both of them at the same time with a single kick. I was saying before I got interrupted, kick crits produce the sound only on regular enemies. Kicks can still crit on bosses and deal massive damage, but there's no accompanying sound to tell. I managed to clear the entire area with a little bit of ammo left over. First try. I'm pretty happy about that. I would run into some trouble on the Mendez chase though. Normally this section is nothing dangerous, which is why I probably wasn't even paying attention. But here this guy ended up throwing an axe that missed me and hit Ashley. I tried to quickly take out the enemies here. The enemies here are scripted to be less tanky. The pitchfork guy interrupts me and there's a guy behind me that's transforming. I'm not sure how soft he is, and I decided to just try to run past because I'm worried Mendez will come soon. He barely catches up to me, and because I'm only at half HP and I can't use a knife to defend myself, I can't mash my way out. It takes me a few not very notable tries, but I make my way back here. I decide to kill these last two guys and tank the axe myself, so I actually can't get hit by it. Okay, time for the Mendez fight. It's been a very long time since I've done this fight, since we skip it in speedruns. I have about 46 ammo, which I know is not enough, but I'm hoping there's enough ammo in the fight itself. Okay, let's see how this fight goes. The first attempt is always exploratory, and he goes for a grab, and then another grab, and then another grab. Okay, grabbing seems to be a specialty downstairs, so let's go upstairs. I didn't mean to do that. I remember it now, but I forgot he had parryable attacks. Next attempt, I'll make my way upstairs relatively early, and instead of going for a stab, I'm just gonna keep shooting his back eye. And I'm pretty sure this is way better than stabbing anyway. Before we figured out a skip from Mendez, we were shooting his back eye with a rifle. And eventually the first phase finishes, which means he's at half HP. And I have more ammo than I did when I entered the arena, so I'm not really worried about running out of ammo. Now, there isn't much left to do except dodge his shit and keep shooting. I'm glad this fight is skipped in speedruns because I'm not really a big fan. The amount of pause buffering you'd have to do with the rifle would be a little bit boring. Anyway, after a bit I take him out. He doesn't even come to attack me once. I'm pretty sure it's because we kind of have an OP weapon. On all difficulties besides professional, you can't upgrade your weapon's stats to beyond level 3. So if you dump all your money into one weapon, you can end up with a weapon that's relatively overpowered for early game with its level 5 damage and fire rate. Anyway, apart from that mishap with the parry, I'd call it a first try. Anyway, so on the Mendez eye, I was able to get the last upgrade. I had already upgraded the reload capacity on Mendez Merchant. Now I'm thinking I only need 30 spinels to get the exclusive ticket upgrade so I can buy the last upgrade. Oh, how wrong I was. Anyway, for the catapult section, I'm not really worried. I pre-launched the cannon like that, and then it's just a matter of fighting a lot of enemies who are scripted to directly go towards Ashley. Yeah, just like that. This guy is scripted to run directly after Ashley and he spawns behind us. While this guy who just grabbed Ashley is waiting at the gate until he decides to run, when we hit some kind of trigger roughly around this stair area. Anyway, boom boom, grab the cannon, take out the rest of the catapults and the enemies. By the way, the cannon is allowed because it's an environmental weapon. Trying to get this medallion, I think I found proof that the Punisher's accuracy is kind of dogshit. I don't know what's going on with the stats, but the SG would not miss this shot even without the laser. Part of the problem is the game. The laser in this game is not physically accurate, as in the shot is not guaranteed to land exactly where the laser is. The laser is basically a glorified reticle, with the accuracy being what a closed reticle has, which is what you can get in RE games when you aim at something for long enough that the reticle closes. It's in contrast to OG RE4 where the laser is physically accurate, where your shots always land where you're aiming at. Those shots on the faraway medallion, after reviewing the footage, the laser was on the medallion on all shots, but like 6 shots missed. Now I'm tempted to do a run with the starting handgun just to see how good it is. Comment down below if you're interested. Anyway, I loot around the area and make it to the castle. Now here's the part I'm kind of excited for. The first Garrador encounter I have not done since the game first released. The sniper skip that skips directly to Waterhall here was found literally within days of the game's release. In fact, I don't think me and most other speedrunners who have been on this game since day one have ever done that area, unless they were playing glitches or... Which, by the way, the sniper skip is technically possible on console, it's just the analog stick is not sensitive enough to spin fast enough. Although I do believe one person managed to pull it off once. Okay, enough yapping, how is this fight going? As I may have noticed, the Punisher actually pierces through shields. That's really good. Okay, next challenge. Time for the Garrador fight. I decided to do the same thing I've been doing against every boss. Just keep shooting. There's a neat little quirk with Garradors. Of course, they take more damage on their back plaga and very little damage on their bodies. The thing is, the plaga receives more damage if it is retracted. Now normally, as soon as you shoot it once, it pops out and the Garrador gets stunned, but you're able to sneak in extra shots if the Garrador is stuck in a particular animation, like initially breaking out of his chains or recovering from getting flashed, which is a bit counterintuitive because you might think you're not hitting the shots on the back. Anyway, he goes down quick, didn't even take a full magazine. I don't know why I was excited. It's still just a Garrador. We'll fight a couple of them later. We get through the next few areas. It's still nice to explore since I'd forgotten them, but I'm somewhat happy about the skip existing. Since this is a rather puzzle-heavy section, that would have gotten annoying to do in speedruns if we had to. Now, let's move on to Waterhall, a section that kills speedruns in both the remake and the original. I take out the crossbow mewers, who are so annoying if you leave them alone. I fight for a bit, the Punisher is really starting to come into its own thanks to shield enemies. I get tempted into shooting these guys downstairs, even though I know almost all of them have the potential to be a Mandibula Plaga. And while Leon is worrying about its teeth, I'm worrying about how tanky it is. This memer just won't die. I'm not gonna have enough ammo for the rest of the enemies, and that's assuming they don't transform. I know for a fact that some of the downstairs enemies are at least capable, but not guaranteed to transform. I finally take that one out, and decide to run, and I get hit by a point-blank axe throw. I'm pretty sure they can't be parried, even if you could, because I think it hits you on frame 1 or something, and on throws the parry window starts there, not like a few frames before on melee attacks. Anyway, I died, so attempt number 2, I decided to just run, but fortunately, not unfortunately, fortunately, I actually got hit, and that's a good thing. It means that I can just ignore her and she'll recover on her own. When we get upstairs, Ashley recovers on her own when you get to the next area. It's not a timer thing. I shoot these two just enough to stun them and get past, being careful not to kill them, but then I get a one-shot crit on this guy. Unbelievable. I need to get out of here. Those plagas can be really fast at chasing you. I get to the crank and I decide to shoot some enemies to buy myself some time to turn it. This shield guy with the helmet is a huge pain in the ass. But I get overwhelmed and Ashley starts to get dragged away. I get out of there because I can't stand my ground. I need to drag the enemies away. Circling around, I try to make the enemy that's dragging Ashley drop her. It was obviously taking more than one shot to stun the enemy and I didn't react fast enough. Okay, my bad. Anyway, next attempt, Ashley went downstairs with me and gets grabbed. Not a big deal, I do save her. And there's that same dude who's camping the crank. The annoying thing is, because he's carrying a shield, baiting him away is really slow. But trying to kill him was an even worse idea because he's a plaga. Not the big one, but still. I'm circling around trying to catch 4 seconds of breathing room so I can turn the crank. But these damn Garradors seem smart. It's like the game is thinking I can use flashbangs. I just cannot get them away from the middle crank area. And this torch guy gets Tekken 8's Dragonov level tracking. Look at that. Not to mention how BS it is that he goes for an insta-grab after the hit, and with so many enemies there, the side guy was just ready. Okay, next attempt, I get slightly better luck here. The shield guy is far enough away, so I only need to take care of this guy. He turns into a plaga, but a small one, so that's fine. Being fast is crucial. Can't give the enemies any time to congregate. I barely get enough time to get the turning done, but it's fine. I just need to make sure Ashley isn't dragged away and get upstairs. The enemies lose their aggro there. Fun little tidbit, in the original game, they don't do that. All enemies from downstairs follow you up there. In the speedrun, we retry the checkpoint so the enemies despawn. But here, the enemies lose aggro on their own. So it's kinda like Capcom made their speedrun strat the default in this game, which is pretty neat. The rest of Waterhall is pretty easy. Only a handful of enemies chase after Ashley. Though killing the enemies too fast means more enemies spawn. Some of the enemies on the platform are sprinters. Those are the only enemies that can give you a decent amount of trouble. Another neat change is that Ashley can jump down from the platform on her own. You don't have to grab her. They really toned down the Ashley babysitting in this game because I get the feeling that Waterhall is where most people probably developed their initial hatred for Ashley. We'll finish out the chapter by mostly ignoring Ashley and worrying about her own skin. And she might be getting mad at us for it. Ashley gets mad at us and leaves, so I decide to go fishing. And ooh, a beetle. Let's eat it. I get the scratched emerald, and believe it or not, it leaves me with 29 spinels. Anyway, on to the wine cellar. Here I'm thinking I'm just gonna damage him enough and then use the barrels. But I get rushed by a few enemies, no big deal. Except it does become a bit of a deal. I eventually force my way through with a huge crit. Fortunately for us, for some reason the red zone likes to hang around barrels. I eventually take him out. That could have ended up really badly, but we'll get through. Also, for some reason, I totally forgot that the body armor is available on this chapter. It's always a good investment. It pays for itself in the heals you save, even if you sell those heals. I get blocked by this fellow and he manages to get a shot on us. But even with 60% HP because of the yellow herbs we've used, we can tank those. Just when Leon was getting to know a nice girl and forgot about Ada, she decides to remind him that she exists. Now Leon's gonna be hung up on her for God knows how long. Well, even if Leon won't move on, we have to. And we get introduced to another type of enemy, the spider plagas. For some reason, whenever they attach to an enemy, they make the enemy's head jello. It always pops in one shot. I still neglect buying the body armor and move on to Battlements. I hope I won't regret it. Apart from these fellas, the entire area is done with a pistol and speedrun, so I'm not exactly worried. These guys, especially this spider, gives me trouble. I probably should have focused on it and taken it out since it makes the enemies so much more dangerous, and also it itself is quite frail. I do lose a decent amount of healing items because of it. I finally kill it, but this guy grabs me, that's fine. All these buddies are dead. Turns out I ran out of healing items and this guy needed to drop a green herb, which he did. I got quite lucky here. Upstairs there's a mini skip you can do by shooting the counterweight from that angle. The other counterweight in the speedrun we blow up with a grenade, but since we don't have any grenades we gotta do this normally. All the enemies are pretty avoidable. I shoot the next two required counterweights, gain access to the cannon, take out the Gigante, and then the door. Fun fact, that Gigante you can take out with a rocket launcher, but not the door. Not really much to talk about in this chapter. I'm actually surprised how brief it is. So let's just quickly move on to the maze. In the maze, I just decide to kill every dog. If you can get them before they transform, they're quite weak, but they become 10 times tankier when they transform. You don't want that. They seem to be going down in just a couple of shots, which is really good. We lowered the first flag, then this group of dogs in the cage, I tried to take them out before they transform, but this guy manages to, thanks to his buddy. I swear, they really do become 10 times tankier, and I don't think it matters how much you damage them before they transform, they just regenerate their HP. We do the second flag, and when you do this flag, a few enemies spawn and chase after Ashley. We only need to take out the 3 enemies in front of Ashley so she'll get moving. Oh, I barely managed to stop 2 of them in their tracks. The third one is being a little bit of a straggler. He always does that. We jump down and get him. It's important to take out these guys fast because there are some enemies behind Ashley as well. We do the last flag, and the reason why we do the flags in this order is that after you do all 3 flags, more dog transformations start kicking in, and you don't want to be overwhelmed by them. They have an attack where they stab you with the plaga and then jump on you. That can sometimes straight up kill you from full HP. Probably not from the amount of yellow herbs we used in this playthrough though. Make it into the Grand Hall, and I'm still 1 spinal short. So I did the dining room puzzle first, just to get it out of the way, and then I moved on to knights. Okay, so knights. They have their quirks, but first I need to stun them and expose their plaga heads and then finish them off. You can get the plagas to pop straight from damage, but that takes a lot of damage. And Ashley starts throwing lamps after you take out 1. I'm also pretty sure that the penetration won't help, since rifles have penetration and it's never felt like I can penetrate the helmet to get the plagas inside. Okay, so that's 1. Interestingly, the second guy stuns in only a couple of shots. The penetration might not help me on a single enemy, but I can shoot both of them if they line up. I'm playing with fire a little bit here because at this HP, their double overhand attack could insta-kill. Okay, so I take out 1 and I have no idea why Ashley threw that. Usually she throws 1 when they're stunned or they're finishing an attack. So usually she's pretty accurate, but for some reason she threw 1 on a moving enemy and completely whiffed it. Whatever, it's fine. She has 2 more lamps, and if you use it efficiently, it'll be enough. The next wave also has 2 knights, but this time Ashley is willing to throw lamps. So if you just bait and attack correctly, Ashley can get both of them at the same time. In the speedrun before we discovered the infinite money glitch, we used to do this and then flash them. But here, no flashes, so we just take them out the old-fashioned way. I was not expecting to have any trouble here, so I was kind of on autopilot, and then this happened. Okay, so the next attempt, the last wave goes kind of like this. How it was supposed to go. Depending on which attack the knight does, you're supposed to dodge a different way. The third knight walks into the flames while it's still active. I tried to line them up a little bit, but it doesn't work. It's fine, they're going down easy enough anyway. I was hoping the bullet penetration would have been more useful here, but I don't think it works on enemies through themselves. Like shooting through their arms to hit their heads. It'll hit the enemy behind them but not hit the same enemy multiple times. The only exception seems to be shields, or at least wooden shields. When we get to the island, we'll see if the Punisher can penetrate metal shields. I go back to the merchant to redeem redeem the exclusive upgrade ticket and I noticed the description of the item. It says it grants access to the exclusive upgrade regardless of the weapon's level. Wait, what does it mean by regardless of the weapon's level? I thought you had to have everything else maxed out first. And then it becomes clear to me. See, the exclusive ticket gets you the upgrade, but I thought it only granted you access to the upgrade. Access as in unlock, not give, because it has the word access in its text, and that you have to have everything else maxed out first. But it turns out, if you have the ticket, you can get the exclusive whenever. But without the ticket, only then the maxing out everything first restriction does apply, and it only costs money to get the exclusive. So if you're using money, you don't need the damn ticket! All this effort of gathering 30 spinels was a massive waste of time. I was outraged. I still am. Looking for those medallions was a giant waste of time. And ammo too, since I had to clear the area to look for the medallions. Not to mention the goddamn dog that I fought in village for 8 spinels. Okay, well, whatever. Now, to be honest, I don't think the upgrade is gonna do much for us. Lining up enough targets so that the value shines is gonna be really hard, but we'll see. I go into the gallery room, and you may have noticed I was trying to interrupt the guy from operating the lever. It works with a flash or a grenade, but you can't do it with guns because there's a forced cutscene. This area actually seems to be the best place to test the upgrade because of its narrow pathways. Don't have enough ammo to kill all of them, so I just run. I turn the lever, and on the way back, the Gloria Las Plagas is just transforming everyone, so I can run again. I was hoping we could vault over any of these, but apparently you can. I don't have much experience with this area because we skip it every time. I make my way back to the statue and of course I get a heavy nade. That's fine. I grab the head that we need and the red zealot is actually waiting for us. Sometimes, I don't know when, but sometimes he gains courage and starts attacking you. Here, a lot of enemies line up, so I decided to do a penetration test. And as you can see, if they're lined up just right, it is just shredding through them. They don't stay lined up for very long, but if they are, it seems to be where the Punisher really shines. That and its ability to get through shields. Anyway, while I'm picking out these guys, Ashley gets hit, so I have to take out the red zealot too. I get dangerously close to running out of ammo. I clear the rest of them with just 2 to spare. It seems to me that Plagas can't directly go after Ashley. They can't carry her. I think they can hit her, if their attacks happen to hit her after missing you, but I don't think they can directly target Ashley. I am running extremely low on ammo, and the next chapter is a tough one. We set the heads, and the next section is an Ashley section. And Ashley, despite being an American, never asks Leon for a gun, so she probably doesn't know how to use one. Since Ashley's section is the same regardless of what challenge we're doing, let's just skip over it. Too bad we can't give her the Punisher. Okay, time for the Novies. The Punisher should be really good at dealing with them, or just Leon's legs. Here, the Novice section starts a little bit differently than it does in the speedrun, because of no door skip. I also decided to go for the levers in the opposite order, just to shake things up, no real reason. Okay, so Novice do get stunned from one shot if they're camouflaged, but not taking that into account, the Punisher is doing really well. Still, Novice in general are pretty weak in this game, compared to the absolute menaces they were in OG4. I get done with the first switch and luckily I don't get camped as I jump down. Most of the time there's multiple Novice camping us here. Maybe that's because we usually hit that switch second, and the route we took is just causing the Novice to behave differently. Here I get some pretty bad luck. I get hit off the ladder, and as I'm finishing climbing it, I get killed as soon as I finish climbing. I may have been able to parry that, but you know, the rules. Okay, 10 number kill. I take the usual route and look at the Punisher. I hit both of them with the same shot, they stun and they both die from the kick even though the kick was not a crit. I think the Punisher's shot was the crit. I get hit off the ladder. Honestly, I have no idea how iframes work on the ladder. I know they exist, they just don't seem consistent. Anyway, I hit the first switch, which on this attempt is the other switch. Then I get the second switch without much trouble. Even though there was still only one camouflage Novi when I jumped down, it was close enough to hit me before I recovered. Okay, time for Garradors, which are directly right after Novi's with no save point in between. Okay, no plan. I only have 31 ammo, but the Garrador we already fought was pretty weak. I don't think these guys are any tougher. Maybe I should have had a plan, because by the time I bait the Garradors over here, I'm almost out of ammo. In this area, enemies infinitely spawn, so they could be farmed from ammo, but it's not the easiest thing to do with 2 Garradors. Right around here, I get comboed into a death pretty nicely. Okay, fighting the Garradors remind me that the body armor exists. This time, I just go to them directly, no trying to bait them anywhere. So I get close to get them out of their chains and just start fighting them. The body armor will let me tank a lot of damage. There's still a pretty big risk of running out of ammo, but there is some loot in the area. Good thing is, the Garradors are taking out their buddies, and if push comes to shove, I can use the Garradors to get the cultists to drop ammo. Here I take out the naked one, but the armored one, I'm missing a lot of shots on, and I am running out of ammo. I have 6. Here on this vase, I find 5 ammo. Not enough. Fortunately, I find both 10 ammo and a small resource around here, and I'm able to take out the armored Garrador. Just in the nick of time too, because I was running out of body armor and heals. Anyway, I'm happy with that. Technically second try, but I'll take it. We go through the cave section, which isn't much trouble. I loot everything I can before Verdugo. I have 51 ammo. I am almost nearly certain that I cannot kill him, but we'll try anyway. For those who might not know, you don't actually have to kill Verdugo. You can just wait out the timer until the elevator comes. Okay, Verdugo takes more damage when he's frozen, and we have 4 liquid nitrogen stations. On this, I try to milk out a little bit too much damage and I missed the kick pump. That was freeze number 1, and now for freeze number 2. More of the same. Dump a bunch of ammo and don't miss the kick pump. Wait, I missed it again. He breaks out of his eyes and I'm out of ammo. Here, I loot those 2 boxes, which are 2 of the most efficient boxes you can get, and I get a heavy nade. You have no idea how angry I am at that. Not because of this run, but on speedruns we rely on those boxes to drop a heavy nade and it always lets us down. The fact that it's dropping me a heavy nade now just makes me angry. We're on freeze number 4 now, the last one, and he's still not going down. No choice. Time to dump whatever I have and see what happens. I get some kind of a mini stun here, which I had not seen before. Maybe it's some HP indicator, but still, I'm completely empty and the entire area has been looted dry. I gotta tell you, I don't think he's close to dying. He probably has half, a quarter HP at his lowest. He's the tankiest boss in the game, the only one who can tank multiple rocket launcher shots without being a boss with multiple phases. I hate to do this, but the elevator comes, so I bail out. I briefly think about reloading a save and trying again, but that sounds kinda boring. I could have hoarded ammo a bit better maybe, but I think I made a reasonable attempt. That was a long chapter. Not just Verdugo, even though we didn't die that many times, it still took a while. And we meet Luis again.
I'll make it cheap for you.
Okay, so I fixed the body armor obviously, and we need to get the dynamite. Can't just rocket launcher our way through like in the speedrun. And wouldn't you know it, Luis gives us ammo. Well, now that I know that we have infinite ammo here, my plans change. I decided to try to straight up just kill this fellow sister. After kicking, I flip the switch and go back to shooting. Okay, never mind, I need to bail, there's 2 of them. I stunned them just barely long enough to get out of here. I killed the Bella sister with this barrel, but the Salazar is still alive. Here I get grabbed, but Luis saves us from halfway across the room. We got the dynamite, but having to go back here is really tough because the enemies that were chasing us is camping us now, and the body armor is not going to do us any good against the chainsaw. I get hit, but I'm not really worried about those guys. I just gotta survive the Salvador, and he gives us a good animation. We're fine. And Luis gives us ammo. More good news. It's a good thing we're not required to escort Luis. He'll figure his way out of there. And the next section is the double Gigantes. They shouldn't take much ammo, but even if they do, maybe Luis will just keep giving us ammo. These Gigantes are smart. You can't just drop them into the lava, they'll always dodge. Like this. They need to be stunned before. Look, Luis is still giving us ammo. That makes it easy. Let's stun the naked one and just drop him. For the naked Gigantes, you only need to drop them to 90% HP and then damage the plagas just a little bit to get a stun. Dropping them into the lava means you don't get their treasure, but we don't really care about that at this point. Now, for the armored one. The armored one actually has less HP than the naked one, but only has 1 weak point near his face where you shot him with the cannon. So the principle should still be the same, damage him just enough to pop the plaga and then stun. But while I was struggling to get enough damage on him, Luis left. In that case, let's just save the effort and the ammo. This should be easy. If it was from the dynamite, it could have been a little bit hard, but even then, as long as Luis kept giving us ammo, it should have been completely fine. I loot stuff and make it to the minecart. And before I skip it, I was gonna justify using Luis's Red 9 here by calling it an environmental weapon. But in between recording this one and now editing the video, I learned that the Luis Red 9 is actually an inventory weapon that the game temporarily places in our inventory. This means that technically there's 2 inventory weapons that we end up being forced to use on this chapter. So the strict answer to the question, can the Punisher beat RE4 Remake on its own? It's no. The no section is the same as the previous 2. Stun or kill with just a few shots, run fast. They're weak. I talked to the merchant to fix the body armor, and they were forced to fight Krauser with a knife. Breaking the rules with the challenge a second time in the same chapter. Shame. I could have upgraded the knife, but ended up not doing it. Okay, we kinda skipped over a lot of stuff, but honestly, not a lot of interesting things happened. So let's move on to the next chapter, which is the clock tower. First, we need to make our way up there, and I don't want to use a lot of ammo. First, we get a lucky crit here. I get washed here a bit. Don't want to lose body armor either. I dig out the statue. Here near the top I'm fighting these dudes and the masked Cellar drops the spiked boulder. I try to go for that kick front but it disappears, and because of that I end up taking a lot of damage here. The boulder at least takes out the enemies that have been bullying me, so I do make it to the top, but dangerously low on ammo and body armor. I try to preserve ammo as much as possible, but this ends up happening. 0 ammo and I have no ability to get this guy off the elevator no matter what I do. And there's another one. Okay, on the second attempt I make a much better effort of climbing up. About 15 more ammo. Not a lot, but it should be enough. I take out a big group here, one guy here. This enemy goes down in 3 shots. This group of enemies takes some decent ammo, but they go down pretty easy. I'm pretty sure these enemies are suited to have less HP than average, and some of them you don't need to explicitly kill them, just interrupting them is enough. Now here, this guy is the super high jumper. We take care of him, but I miss a jumper, but I got lucky with a crit. These enemies that are grouping up, I try to make them fall or just interrupt them. It kinda works. Need to take out that guy and a couple of guys after, and then I notice the long jumper is still there. I think he got knocked back, took a while to climb all the way back up and is trying to jump again, but this time he dies. His shielded body finally gathers enough courage to jump. I was trying to knock him back mid-air when his shield is not blocking him, but it fails, so I have to shoot through the shield a bit. This enemy gets on, but I have to dodge the crossfire to take care of her, and here I get insanely lucky. I only had 4 ammo left, and with 2 enemies having enough time to jump, I really needed that crit. Okay, finally, I get out of here with 2 ammo. Next up is the Salazar boss fight. On the merchant, I grab every small resource I can buy, and fix my body armor, of course. I am very low on ammo. He's not as tanky as Verdugo, but there's no timer. We have to kill him to get past. The loot inside the area is not the best. There's a drop that's static rifle ammo, which is useless to us, and some gunpowder, which is also useless because we have plenty. But luckily, there is a way for us to get extra ammo. We'll get to it when we run out of ammo, which we will. I eventually scored the first stun. I'm not very familiar with the stun thresholds of Salazar, but if I had to guess, maybe it's 75%. I just used all my crafts and didn't get a single bonus craft, so it's not looking good. I keep shooting while he's stunned, but then when I try to run away, I somehow get comboed by a goo on the floor and then a stream from Salazar. Yikes, no body armor, not looking good. Running low on ammo, and oh, what's this? Where did that come from? And that's where the secret is. The ball traps that form on the floor, they can provide drops. That means that theoretically, this fight is doable no matter what. Well, as long as you don't die. You may realize that at the start of the first attempt, I had 60% body armor. That's because I took some crossbow shots from these protagonists from that new Naughty Dog game. This time I don't take any hits and I get better drops from these barrels. And to make things simpler, I craft before I enter the fight this time. But the second attempt doesn't go well either. I don't notice the insta-kill attack animation. This next attempt goes rather well. I scored the first stun and dump a bunch of ammo. I loot these barrels, but unfortunately one of them is a guaranteed 10 gunpowders. Trying to sneak in damage on his main body without taking damage is a pretty big pain in the ass, especially with how mobile he is. I managed to score the second stun, but I have no ammo. What a huge waste. That stab count looking mighty tempting. After a while, I finally find some ammo, and I'm starting to think it's better if I just dump every ammo I have, so the game will be more likely to drop ammo. I find another drop and dump it with the 7 I have, and I barely miss an insta-kill attack here. Damn, he's not chilling at all. A little bit of an insult, but one of the bubbles dropped a large resource. I finally find some ammo, and this is gonna take a while. 10 ammo at a time. It's taking me roughly a minute to find a drop. I find another drop here, pick it up, reload, use it, and I get a stun. That's the 3rd stun. Best case scenario because 9 is the max amount of ammo I can have going into a stun. Here, I get insanely lucky. Trying to pick up that drop, I get hit and I had no heals until I noticed a green herb drop there. I absolutely have to get it, and to add to my good fortune, 20 more ammo I dropped. I absolutely need to make them count. I'm hoping that the 3rd stun is triggered at 25% HP, so he should be close to dying. Right? Nope. I run out, circling around until more ammo drops. The next 10 should do the job, right? I'm very confident. How the hell did that hit me? Not only does that not do the job, I take a hit again. Okay, calm down. With how the RNG in this game works, a green herb dropping from a random source is extremely likely if you're at 0 HP with no heals on you, and I am proven right. Okay, with how many hits I'm taking, I only have so many opportunities to get some ammo before one of the hits eventually takes me out. Oh, thank God. I didn't have much more left. That was tough. What was that, like the 3rd attempt? The Punisher's really starting to show its limitations on these tanky bosses and limited ammo drops. Looting everything before the chapter ends, I put my ammo count to healthy levels again. The next boss isn't for a while, but I am concerned. But for now, we can afford to take a little bit of a breather. Okay, so chapter 13. First things first, we fix the body armor. I'm not gonna buy small resources because he stocks 1 every chapter and he has a capacity of 3. Okay, so this first part, I absolutely refuse to do this area normally. Mostly because I can't remember it. But still, I refuse. I will figure out how to do a turret skip with just the Punisher. So usually, the easiest way is to bait the pighead guy into tanking the turret for us. Let's see how it goes. I get hit by a Molotov and I decide to jump down. Big mistake. I should have just stood my ground, because he does actually go into the turret. He's not dead yet, he can tank it again. And I run into the path. I don't know why I ran in front, I should have just ran around. I guess I thought I didn't have enough time. The shots coming out of the turret are real shots and they only kill you if they hit you. Depending on the turret, you can run in front as long as you're not physically blocking the bullets. This turret doesn't really let you based on its angle. Anyway, second attempt. Come on baby, you can do it. Just a little bit more. Oh fuck man, he just had to go for the double kick. And he managed to get it off too before the turret dealt enough stun damage to him. And the fire damage from the Molotov gets me, even though I pushed him into the turret again. If I healed, maybe I had a chance there. I don't care how many attempts it's gonna take, I am not doing this area normally. Come on baby. I probably should take out the Molotov guys, but I think there's more than one and not out in the open. He reloads his gun again for some reason. I think it's because I had to back off not to take fire damage. The Molotovs are thrown again and now I... Oh wow, that was BS. The crossbow bolt for some reason gave Leon a leaning forward damage taking animation and that dropped me into the turret's laser. On this next attempt, this stun rod guy decides to become Terminator. I thought I killed him with the barrel, but he survived and starts coming after me angrier than ever. But I finally get lucky and get past. The turret manages to stun him before he executes a second kick. If you're wondering what it drops, it's an Alexandrite, the purple square gem. Anyway, between there and the Regenerators, there's just a bunch of running and dodging, so let's just skip over it. This entire time, I had totally forgotten about Regenerators. Not like forgot, but how much trouble they would cause on this Punisher only run. Oh, that guy who just hit me? Nah, he's not a problem, we can just run past. Oh, this guy, while we're waiting for the keycard to get upgraded, he's not a problem either, we can just dance around him. I mean, these guys. One of them has the wrench we need and it is totally RNG. If you don't know or forgot, one of those Regenerators holds the wrench we need to progress. And normally we use the biosensor scope on a rifle or the MP5 to see where it is, but we can't use them, so I just have to guess. Not only am I taking a 25% gamble, I have to basically feel out the plagas inside their bodies as well. Although, I didn't know it until I was recording this, their flesh starts coming off and you can see the plagas glowing a bit. But I was mistaken with one thing. I thought that the wrench location changed with each reset. I don't know why, but I have some memories of testing this back when the game first came out. I thought that the wrench location was so unmanipulatable that even reloading a save would change its location. So I don't get lucky on this attempt, and I'm too low on ammo to try to go for a second Regenerator. I did try, but I ended up dying. Turns out, no, the RNG gets generated and set at some point when you step into the laboratory. So on this run, since I went back into the merchant to save after the freezer room, I should have only needed 4 attempts to find the right one, worst case scenario. But because I was mistaken, on this second attempt I killed the same Regenerator. A complete waste of time. After 2 attempts on the same Regenerator, I get psyched out and go for a different one. Even though I still believe that it was a 25% shot no matter which one I picked. Anyway, this one also turned out to be not the one. Even though I was mistaken, the game could have still thrown me a bone. But no, with 2 Regenerators already tried, I land on the wrong side of a coin flip. Time to try this one, and he also is not the one. But at least he drops an Alexandrite instead of rubies like the other ones. Finally, I'm on the right Regenerator, but this is like attempt number 7. At the very least, I got really good at taking out the plagas without seeing. Bro couldn't even get off the floor. After I'm done upgrading the keycard, I almost throw it here, but I probably would have been fine because of the body armor. It tends to absorb otherwise lethal explosions. I finish out the chapter, and I suppose I should be grateful for the practice on taking out plagas and Regenerators without the biosensor scope, because it turns out I needed it later. So what's next? If you're used to watching speedruns, half of this chapter is skipped with the sniper skip, and we skip directly to Krauser, but it turns out that this is one of the most difficult chapters in this challenge. I'm skipping to this attempt where I get past this initial area, because frankly the attempts before where I was trying to remember what I was supposed to do wasn't really interesting. After figuring it out, I decided to clear out the initial enemies before telling Ashley to hold down the switch, because otherwise, there's this narrow hallway that Ashley has to go through, and while narrow hallways are great for the Punisher, too many enemies were becoming plagas at this point. So trying to rush through was very inconsistent. Of course, it meant that it took more ammo, and ammo would be a huge problem on this chapter. So I ended up walking into here unprepared.
Bring it, you freaking monster!
Actually, I'm the one who has to do all the work here. I'm hoping the ammo that I have will last. I already took out 2 plagas, that's number 3, and that's number 4. Does he have 5 plagas? Anyway, I go out, find 10 ammo and come back, and it doesn't help. Even though I get something that feels like a plaga pop on its head. Did any of the plagas regenerate? This attempt ends up being a soft plug. There are no other loot available. Next attempt, I walk in here with more ammo because I hadn't saved and started from the beginning. But now I'm prepared. I get some good shots while bro is on the floor. I take out the last Plaga with 3 ammo left and I'm feeling pretty smug. I call Ashley over and she screams. Why? Oh wait, what the fuck? Oh, I'm so cooked. Oh, I have 2 small resources, maybe I'll get a bonus. Never fucking mind. Okay, his head is glowing, I'm just gonna shoot. Never fucking mind. Oh, I had completely forgotten about the Iron Maiden. The only thing I can think of is to just keep shooting its head, where you can see something glowing. Did it grow a Plaga on its head? It seems to be working since I'm getting mini stuns, but if it is a Plaga, then it should have popped already. Direct shots only take a few with the Punisher. Let's just keep shooting, at least until I run out of ammo. Bro makes it easier for me and falls on the floor, or should it be Sis, since it's called the Iron Maiden? It doesn't matter, it starts dying. We get passed on attempt number 2, and the first attempt where I knew what to expect. That was tough. I only have 2 ammo left, and on this attempt I had already crafted. I call Ashley over and I failed the puzzle. This isn't the puzzle we do in this speedrun, so I'm not really used to it. But this fail was kind of BS. On the next section, Ashley has to hold up a bridge for us, and on the way back, I thought the guy on the left was the only guy. Didn't notice the one behind her, and this meant I had to do Iron Maiden again, and it took me quite a few tries to do it a second time, but we're back. And on this attempt, Ashley gets grabbed before I can get to the bridge, so there's no chance of accidentally dying. Okay dudes, chill! I'm not interested in killing him, I just need to take care of the other guys who actually raises the bridge for me. Which I fail at. Okay, there's obviously an easy way. Get the guys before Ashley gets grabbed. It seems to me how fast Ashley gets grabbed is a bit RNG even with me hauling ass, but on this attempt I was able to get them before. Some more dudes show up where we just have to take care of them and do the puzzle. No lie, this took me 2 minutes. The other 2 that we do, I know the solution. Here's something pretty sad happens. Ashley calls for Leon, but I was too busy looting, and unlike the OG, Ashley simply jumps herself anyway if you ignore her, and with the way she limps for a bit, it made me feel like a bit of an ass. Anyway, how does the Wrecking Ball area work? Since this is not in the speedrun, I was under the impression that the wall had its own HP, because you can actually throw a couple of heavy nades onto it and break the wall early. Turns out, no, it doesn't work like that. At least if you let Ashley solo it. And it seems like the game won't spawn enemies of the next phase until you clear the previous one, or unless a lot of time passes, like right now where I'm trying to see if buying enough time for Ashley will work. On this attempt, the game finally gets tired of waiting for me to kill the brutes, so it spawns the next wave. The last wave, however, which are the Plaga spiders, seems to trigger without giving you lots of time. I wasn't exactly prepared, and the spiders started latching on and made the enemies a lot more dangerous, and I wasn't able to get a first attempt success here. Part of the reason why I wasn't fighting very hard is I was still not sure if waiting for Ashley wouldn't work, and I wanted to preserve ammo for the upcoming section, which we'll get to. After 3 attempts, I had finally figured out that the area was mostly phase-based, not timer. So on this attempt I decided to go all gung-ho. First, there's just a few guys spawning around. No big deal, just gotta make sure to preserve some ammo, and they also drop ammo. The next wave has a hammer brute and some more enemies. I try to preserve as much ammo as I can by utilizing the barrels. He gets a hit on me, but that's fine. We have nearly full body armor. Ammo is still the biggest concern, and I finally take him out. I guess it's not fully wave-based, as in the game will spawn the next wave when there are still a few stragglers. Or the brutes and the regular enemies have their own groups that spawn one after the other. I don't know, and I'm beyond caring. I just need to kill them. I try to utilize some of the bullet penetration and finally take out the second brute. Running low on ammo, I might have run out of boxes at this point. The next wave isn't led by a brute, which seems to make it easy, but oh shit, a rocket launcher. Really? I hadn't thought of this while doing the run, but now I realize they should have made it so that the tractor is vulnerable to rocket launcher shots. It only makes sense. I make a pretty big mistake here. Fortunately, the rocket launcher dudes are made out of tissue paper. This guy only takes 2 shots. This guy only took 4. Now that the spiders spawn, I'm expecting them and I'm prepared, so I try to take them out before they latch and become 10 times more dangerous. One good thing is that they fix my ammo worries a bit, since they're so numerous and weak, means they'll drop more ammo than they take. After all the spiders are dead, even with a couple of enemies left, Ashley does break the wall, and I make it out of there with barely any resources left. And if you've played this game, the next roadblock is the Krauser section, and somehow I have to find enough ammo to fight Krauser in between here and there. Don't mind that dude, he's not interested in chasing us out of the arena. Of course there are a decent amount of loot available, both in between and in the Krauser section itself, but it'll be tough. So let's just skip there. Not much happens in between. Ashley talks about becoming an agent like Leon. We get some loot, and we fix our body armor. The merchant is still out of small resources, so nothing else to do here. So I was debating whether or not to use the cutscene trick here, On this fight, we can skip the first section by skipping the cutscene at a specific point, when the camera is on this angle or the next one, where Leon says Krauser had some honor, but look at you now. When we do, the game seems to leave Krauser's position where it was when we skipped the cutscene and not where it's supposed to be. So the AI breaks and has Krauser just walk off the ledge and fall. I decided not to for the sake of the challenge. The phase shouldn't take too much ammo, I hope. I took a nasty hit here, pretty bad idea. Trying to do this fight without being able to parry is a huge pain in the ass. I didn't even know Krauser could throw knives. This attempt turned into a disaster. I lost like 80% of my body armor just on this phase. And this phase is supposed to be the easy one. I do eventually get it, but I can already tell this attempt is not gonna succeed. I decided to loot this box, and that gave Krauser enough time to take out the rest of my body armor. So phase 2. I only have 42 ammo, and at this point it's an exploratory fight. I do not expect to succeed here. I am trying to make use of a glitch here. On this fight, you can kind of double your damage. Any damage Krauser receives on his body before he gets stunned and falls from this ledge, for some reason gets reapplied on the first shot you deal after he falls down. But now that I'm looking at the footage again, I'm not sure if it's working, or if it is, it's not very significant. In the speedrun, we stack something like 2 magnum shots on his arm or 2 max power rifle shots, so the shots that's meant to reapply the damage stuns Krauser, because it's reapplying big damage, but here it didn't, presumably because I only stacked like 5 Punisher shots. So either here it didn't work, or if it did, it only reapplied measly amounts of damage. Well, anyway, I got past the fight, but I have no healing items and there's still the final phase, the one that's actually hard, and I'm not even gonna get there on this attempt. Okay, I need to preserve some body armor. I'm probably gonna need as much of it remaining for the last phase. Here I get a pretty good first phase fight. I only took 1 slash damage and a small barrage at the start. There's a typewriter in between phases 1 and 2, and this attempt is good enough that I'll save. So I turn the wheel, get attacked by Krauser here again, don't get hit here, take out the explosives and the turrets, dodge this, and then save. I get past this section, which means I'll be entering the fight with roughly about 80% body armor. Okay, the plan is simple. Stack as much damage on the arm as possible to try to make use of the glitch, hoping it's working, and then try to use the explosive by dodging into it with I-things. Okay, I had it angled all wrong. Krauser teleported into the explosive. Trying to do this without parrying is total BS. I'm getting comboed over here. I don't mind the health loss, I mind the body armor loss. There is some loot in between here and the next phase, but I am not feeling great about how much ammo I'll be carrying into the final phase. I need to extract more damage out of these explosives. I eventually get the fight, but my body armor is still too low. Here Krauser does the slash when he says witness the power. It's very important that I dodge it, otherwise it's a lot of armor damage. It's more or less consistent if you do the movement properly with the camera angle to the left like this. Grabbing some more loot, I have decent ammo, and there's a few boxes in the fight as well. I'm hopeful. The problem is, there is no ammo spawn mechanism like there is with Salazar, so if we run out, we run out.
Oh shit.
Okay, so for this first attempt, my game plan is just keep scoring headshots and use kicks. Kicks can crit here and can give us a big boost, although we won't be able to tell. When he raises his shields up, it's almost impossible to score headshots, even if his head is visible. I kept getting the feeling that the hitbox on his arm shield is bigger than it looks. So what I decided to do is continuously climb up and down, so I can force him into his jumping animations and get some damage in. It may have not been the best idea. After a few rounds of this, I get a dodge prompt and I'm able to get some decent damage in. Here I pull off a manual dodge, and then get enough shots in to get another stun. But it's not enough. Even with getting some decent loot here, here, and here, including a small resource, I ended up getting comboed to death before I ran out of ammo. But given how tight the rest of the attempts were and how many shots I was missing on this attempt, I can confidently say that I would have killed Krauser before running out of ammo. Okay, before we cover final Krauser, let's cover what a decent attempt on Krauser 2 looked like, preserving as much body armor as possible. First, I stack up as much body damage as possible to make use of the aforementioned glitch, but here on this attempt I got a crit with the Punisher so Krauser stunned without headshots. Next, I wanted to roll into the laser so the explosive hits Krauser, but I misjudged it. It's fine. I get hit once, but even with proper execution, getting hit was more or less unavoidable because you can't parry. Here I was able to get the explosion damage by kicking Krauser close enough. This was more or less a good fight. One hit taken and some extra damage extracted through crits and an explosive. That was roughly 3 minutes of me trying to stay alive and seeing if there's anything the game will do for me in this situation. There isn't. On some attempts I died, but there were 2 attempts I believe I got very close. Here, after running out of ammo, I chucked the heavy nade and it killed! While heavy nades do deal big damage, for a boss like Krauser it should mean I was kinda close to finishing him off. Here, after running out, I chucked 3 small nades and it also killed. Small nades are a quarter of the power of a heavy nade, so I may have been even closer on this attempt. On this attempt, I shit you not, I was a single knife slash away. 1 less missed shot and I would've had it. That was attempt number 6. I finally got it on attempt number 11. So, how did I finally do it? Going into the fight, I was actually pretty low on body armor, but I had gotten some really good drops, enough that I had 63 ammo going in. Starting the fight, after a cheeky shot, I found it best to climb up and then try to bait an attack. And only after baiting an attack, I know what animation he's locked into so I can maximize my damage. Basically, a sequence like this, which deals a lot of damage. The biggest killer of this fight is missing too many shots or settling for non-headshots. Mind you, it's not like I'm having 100% accuracy, but this was good enough. Especially with the headshots inducing stuns more often, and kick hits can deal massive damage, although there's no visual indication. I messed up a bit here. I baited the grab attack correctly, but shot for too long and missed out on the kick. Here I repeat the same thing, but I run out of ammo so I'm not able to get the good damage in. But not to worry, this is running out before I loaded the boxes in the area. Letting your ammo count be 0 before you break the boxes is a good idea. And here I get 20 ammo, which is technically the max, although if I were to get 2 small resources and get the crafting bonuses, that'd be slightly better. Here I do the same thing, but I'm unable to get the stun. But knowing the stun meter, if you will, must be close, I gamble with a leg shot and it works. Finally, it took a lot of pain to get this, and I got it before I had to loot the last box. And given that I get 20 ammo here, I basically had a surplus of 22 ammo. 32 if you count the small resource. I probably got at least some crits to end up with this kind of a surplus, since I had 4 or 5 attempts where I ran out of ammo. The other attempts I died. That was tough. Now time for a chill chapter with no roadblocks, right? Well, this first part I can let Mike carry me. I don't have to expend any ammo and Mike will take care of everything. It takes about 18 kills for Mike to blow up the debris, so we can move on. The next thing is the AA gun. Unfortunately, when I recorded this run, I took it out using the turret because I thought it was the only option. Since I have been forced to use environmental weapons such as cannons to progress, I counted this turret the same. After recording this run, I actually discovered that the AA gun is operated by some dude, visible from the outside, and he can be shot and killed like I did in my last speedrun PB. I would have liked to have done it the same on this challenge run, but oh well. Climbing up to use the turret ended up being more difficult anyway. I managed it barely on this attempt, losing all my body armor to get up there, but then this happened. On the next attempt after picking out the AA gun, I still have a sliver of body armor that I managed to preserve. I end up losing it before I get into the room, but it's alright. This room is a lot easier in the remake than the OG. First, I bait this rocket launcher shot so that it won't hit me while I'm operating the switch, but for some reason he dropped his aim. I take care of the other switch without much trouble, but while vaulting over, I get hit, then crossbowed, and right before I get hit by the turret, I'm able to open the inventory to use my last green herb, and I live myself out of there. Oh boy, I save, and I take out the novice for safety's sake and to get a green herb. The regenerator puddle with the crank isn't too much trouble as long as you don't wake any up. Here I decide to perform the turret skip using the old strat. It was a risky strat where you bait a Novi into hitting you and then take the turret's attention, and it works. All in all, this chapter wasn't so bad, and the next chapter is almost entirely this Hatter fight, and then we're done with this run. Funny thing is, after all this time, it's a fight that I've never done without the rocket launcher. Prepping for the fight, I loot the boxes, fix my body armor, and buy the 2 small resources off the merchant. Before we go over the successful fight, let's just go over the deaths I had. First, I had this insta-death thing. There's a camera cut, but that's not from my editing, the game just insta-killed me. Next one, I took too much time on this raised platform. This one, it was total bull hockey. He launched an attack I hadn't seen before, and it was too fast to react to. Same story here. Well, the good thing is, I'm failing these fights because I'm dying, not because I'm running out of ammo. The novice that spawn in the fight, they only take 2 or 3 shots to die, and they're a renewable resource of ammo and heals. Anyway, let's move on to the successful attempt. First, I start by stunning him with the explosive and then taking out his eyeballs. Oh, that was bad. Almost half the body armor. After his eyeballs were taken out, he exposes his weak spot that we just keep shooting at. I run away to bait him towards another explosive barrel and lose the rest of my body armor to another spray. I shoot the explosive, take out an eyeball, get hit, heal, and then take out another eyeball. Which means more shooting the weak spot. That's 2 times I've downed him. After this, he jumps up to the middle platform and summons a huge swarm to attack me. I best take them out before they overwhelm me. They give more ammo than they take anyway, assuming they drop their loot on the ground. Sadler nicely drops next to an explosive, so I repeat. But this spray hits me even though I think it shouldn't have. At least I survive it. I guess I had just enough HP. Take out another eyeball, shoot the weak spot again. That was the 3rd down. I didn't need a 4th down as he died without it. Finally. On this last little phase, I keep shooting. It is possible to skip through this phase if you have enough damage, but I don't think the Punisher is capable of it before Ada drops the rocket launcher anyway. By the way, the rocket launcher is an inventory weapon, so it technically invalidates the rules of this run. RIP. There's no more fighting left in this run, so if you watched this far, then...
I think we both know this. This is where we go our separate ways.
That little joke aside, thanks for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you're feeling up to it, and if you'd like to see more challenge runs, comment down below with your suggestions. But before we end the video, we have to place the Punisher in the tier list for solo weapon runs. Given the fact that it did get us through everything in the game that doesn't mandate specific weapons like the knife Krauser fight, I'd say it did pretty well. But it didn't exactly excel in anything. The only reason why it was good early game is because it was upgraded faster than the game is balanced for, and late game, it really struggled with ammo issues. And not just with boss fights, I was having to run through basically everything without expending as much ammo as I would have liked to save the ammo for the boss fights. So I think I'll put it in C tier.